What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I'm your host, Claudia Castro. Got my co host, Tim Park.
Hey
We're at
fam,
episode 20, 20 down already. Started May. It's
I
crazy.
know,
It's practically summer.
I know
Um,
exactly.
like, where has this time gone? Um, we appreciate you joining us today. Before we get started, of course, we appreciate if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. We're on here every week. You can also reach out to us at any point. All the information's in the show notes. Today's episode is really, really cool because I think we've been talking about it pretty consistently over the span of the last couple months with where the market is going, and sort of how you can get deals. Obviously, we've heard about a lot of listings that are just kind of sitting there on the market, taking over 100 days to close. That's an advantage for a lot of wholesalers, and
Yeah.
we know a lot of wholesalers who are actively closing deals that are on market. And are able to take advantage of that. And so we're going to talk about a little bit about that, of how what kind of tactics wholesalers can use with on-market deals, collaborating with realtors. Last week we specifically talked about how realtors should collaborate with wholesalers, but we're going to flip the switch a little bit here, and how you can kind of leverage that relationship as a wholesaler, and closing more deals, especially on market. So I would say, specifically to start off with, is kind of what role the market research kind of goes into play, and
hmm
with wholesalers kind of winning the on market deals. What would you say to that, Tim?
I think the most important is go where the deals are.
Hmm.
I think I know we talk in the group and we've talked amongst ourselves is that it's important to concentrate not on really the market, but where the deals are in your market, I guess you would say. Or
Hmm.
if it's not working in your market, you need to research where actually the houses are selling. So and then also because the research not only goes into opportunity of properties, it also goes into the investors and buyers that are buying in that area that are still flipping, or they're buying and holding.
Right.
So I think that's what is the most important thing in your research. And there's a lot of lead work that you'll have to do up front before you start calling on these on market deals, because
Right.
it's a little bit more in depth than just a
And just
wholesale deal.
finding what's on the
Right.
market. Yeah, I
Right.
agree. I think some tools specifically for research, I mean, I've used in the past, is PropStream is one. I think there's like,
hmm
within PropStream you can use this like pencil, and then there's like options to see like what how many transactions have occurred within the specific like mapped out area. That's one way. A new one, which I think you're seeing more and more now on YouTube, is Privy, Privy.
hmm
It's not necessarily MLS data, but it's basically funneling in MLS data into a really nice, clean interface. So it makes
Yeah.
it a lot easier to find, kind of see on market deals in your market, with all the contact information. They have a cool before and after picture. It's just a really great way to really find these on market deals and reach out to realtors. I mean, that's one way that I've been doing, where I'll just call listing agents or agents on the buyer's end, to
hmm
just kind of leverage some relationships there, and cultivate it, and see how we can work together. um or like, as I've mentioned before too, if you don't really have time to, or maybe you're just getting started, I think partnering up with some experienced wholesaler who has already a set of buyers in their market,
hmm
that's a good way to, where it's like, hey, if I come across some deals that's listed, maybe it's been listed for 30 plus days or 60 days, that you have a really good advantage there, where you can just offer 70% of the ARV
Yeah.
or something, or like way lower. And at this point, some sellers may be a little bit desperate, and realtors as well. Realtors are trying to get paid. They're not trying to wait another 30,
I
60,
know.
90, 100. Like, I've seen some, and this is what's cool with Privy, is you can see how many days on the market
Yeah.
a property has been, and I've seen somewhere it's like 120 days, 150.
Jeez.
So that's a really good way to be like, hey, this is where we can come in at, and really leveraging like, hey, the market conditions. But you do have to have a buyer ready,
Yes.
if you're gonna go under contract, and all those things, because typically in some cases they may ask for proof of funds, they may ask for various number of things. So those sort of
Yeah.
things make a difference if you're just getting started. Is leveraging relationships with other experienced wholesalers who are in that market, have a pool of buyers that are ready to go, and all you really do is just be like, hey, I have this lead, they've accepted this offer, hey, is this something your buyer would be interested in? Like, bada boom, bada bam, get it
Yeah.
set. So it can be very simple, but you have to create a process around it.
Yeah. And I think a person that's all they know is off market deals, it's a little bit, it's kind of relearning a new process of
Hmm.
on market deals, because you do have to have a buyer in place, and you tend to use maybe the standard real estate contract
Right.
on there. So you just have to make sure that there's some wordage on there that you can still either wholesale, or if you don't have that wordage, then you're going to have to double close on that deal. So
Right.
there's
That's an
a lot
option.
of things you have to kind of account for. But like you said, most important, you have to have end buyer, because some of these um, I guess deals are time restrictive, because you have 10 days of inspection, and
Right.
you have to have a buyer lined up within 10 days, or if you go past that 10 days you can't cancel and you lose your EMD. So there's a lot of factors that you
There's
have to
little
go
things, yeah, that go into that, especially, yeah, if you're, but I mean, we've talked about it before. It's like maybe part of the negotiations, like, hey, we'll go with your title company, but can we use our purchase agreement?
Yep.
And like, we'll make sure you get paid. We'll add in whatever verbiage. So it doesn't hurt to not ask. Like,
Yeah.
ask. Like, don't just kind of go with whatever the agent's saying. Like, collaborate and see, because they may be open to it. Again, they're trying to get paid. So
Yes.
you don't necessarily have to go and use the standard realtor purchase agreement. You can use your two pager, and just kind of add in whatever specific verbiage. So it's just kind of understanding this and being confident in how you communicate with
Yeah.
these realtors. I think that's a big thing. And but also, if you are going to use the standard purchase agreement, making sure it's assignable, or a lot of times some realtors be like, no, it can't be assignable. That's where you would double close. But again, you have to have a buyer lined up, because a lot of times the way it's structured, because in our purchase agreements, we have the due diligence period and the closing all combined into one. So
Hmm.
not many, some people do it separate, do it different, where it's like, hey, we'll take a 10-day due diligence period, or 5 days, or 20 days, and then we'll close within this time frame. We
Right.
just combine it all. It just makes it a lot simpler. Where it's like, hey, we'll close, but that's where some people are concerned. Like, hey, you can close 6 days after. So it doesn't hurt to ask. And also the EMD. That's why it's like you can put down your own EMD, but a lot, like how we usually work is we use the buyer's money to fund the EMD.
Yeah.
So whatever they're paying us, an extension of that gets paid into, on the seller side. So a lot of different ways, but I think it's important for wholesalers to know how to negotiate, not just with the sellers, but
Hmm.
the agents,
Yeah.
to secure. And so that's
Exactly.
kind of where we're talking about, like, these favorable terms. And so also knowing how to put that offer in, and like basing it off of comps.
Hmm.
So this is like, if you're fairly new to the market, you're not really aware of like comps or how to look at comps. This is where, again, having somebody who's experienced, because if it is a lead that makes sense, the experienced wholesaler isn't going to say no. So they'd be more than happy to help you out and at least split it in JV with you. But it's just also understanding, like, hey, this is how we work. We're an investment group. This
Yeah.
is our process.
Hmm.
This is the title company we work for, and like we've done this all the time. And I think the important aspect too is not just offering a cash offer. And that's one thing I've done. I've closed a sub two deal where I worked with an investor who just buys creative deals.
Hmm.
This was a foreclosure, I think, lead, or the seller was upside down, on the property, like
Hmm.
gutted the entire property. It was a whole project, ran out of money, and yeah, they were upside down on their loan. we were able to like offer a solution, a sub two solution. So all the other offers that the agent was receiving were all bogus. There was cash offers there, and she was like, we can't. The mortgage balance is this high, but the property value was like this
Hmm.
low. And so
Right.
I think just understanding too the opportunities there, and I think we've mentioned this more than one time, is you just have to offer more than one solution. There has to be
Yeah.
more than an option, and ensuring, because even on creative deals, I think realtors have to understand too, like you can get paid your commission. It'll
Yeah.
just be on the down payment, right, from the buyer. Um, is like, hey, you're gonna get paid. You still get paid. Like you have to like reassure and like have like walk them through the process of a creative deal, whether it be seller finance, sub two, or whatever. So it's really important to understand these things, and that only takes time, and also collaboration with more experienced people, especially if when you're getting started.
Yeah. Definitely. I think understanding how to negotiate or how to talk to a real estate agent is, like you said, is crucial because just telling them your process and how you do it, because you, like you said, coming off confident and understand and how you guys do your business is important, because some of them might not know what a creative financing deal is. So you'll
Right.
have to explain that to them and know that how do they get paid in that deal. So just taking the time to try to explain it as an investor. So,
Hmm.
but I think all the points that you had mentioned are good. So on that.
Yeah, and I think it always goes back to how you communicate things, how you break things down. The same way you're communicating with sellers, it should be the same way almost with agents. I mean, obviously, it's ideal to work with investor-friendly agents, but not everyone is built the same. Just like
Uh-huh.
there's not every wholesaler is built the same. So it's understanding how to break things down. And when you're getting started, sometimes it is a little bit difficult. So that's why, the community that we're in, it's really great because you have an area where you can like reach out and ask like, hey, I have this opportunity, but I don't know how to communicate seller finance, or I don't know how to communicate this and that. How can I do this? And like people can kind of jump in and recommend like, hey, this is how I would do it. So that's where it's like really helpful to have a community behind you, to
Hmm.
know how to first off like communicate or explain a little bit more complicated things. So I think establishing that really strong relationship with investor and educate, or investor, but the realtor, and like educating them, and also if they get an opportunity to close a deal, and they're like, oh, like I like more of these. Like, hey, if any other listings come up, like I'll make sure to reach out to you. That's a big
Hmm.
thing. That's like
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So I think people really take that networking for granted, for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think you want to talk to as many realtors. Not all the realtors are going to be open, of course. We talked about that last week and how closed minded some realtors are. But I think it's important to reach out to as many and talk to as many, not just sellers, but you want to talk to everyone, right? You want to talk to sellers, realtors, brokers, investors, cash buyers. And the more you talk, the more you learn from them too. Like you can use your realtor to understand the market. I
Hmm.
think we talked about MLS, getting access to MLS data.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that, it can be a win-win situation. I think I know somebody in our group who has really just been taken off on wholetailing by developing a relationship with a realtor, who just lists them, and then they split the profits. So,
Hmm.
money
Hmm.
can be made in partnering up with realtors.
Yeah. 100%. And I think the relationship is very important, because you might go through several different realtors to find that right relationship that fits for your business and how you want to work and get on market deals. And once that realtor kind of understands what your goal is and how they can make money on commissions, it's going to be a win-win situation for everybody in that. And it may take some time, it may not, because if you're in a virtual market, you're going to have boots on the ground with that realtor, and they can go actually see the property, give feedback on that property, and say, hey, I think the roof needs repair, so we need to come down 10 to 20,000 on the price. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of great benefits in regards to building that
Yeah,
relationship
they
with
can
that
even
builder.
manage the buyer showings too.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot of things. Another thing I've learned too is they could also, especially in the virtual markets, because the thing is, especially in those smaller virtual markets, some of the realtors are strapped for deals. They don't. There's
yeah,
not many deals coming. They're not closing as many deals. You can pay them to be your property manager or like checking in, right, with
yeah.
the properties that you have. That's one
Hmm.
thing I think that was recommended to me, especially on a lot of the wraps. And
Hmm.
maybe we can do a call on wraps. But wrap
Sure.
is essentially where you're wrapping a note with that you have with the seller with another end buyer, who's essentially living there and paying you every month as well. But a lot of times you're not managing that because the whoever's living in the property is basically living in it like they own it, but they don't own it.
Right.
We And so you can have a realtor stop by or just check in on the property, and you can just pay them that. Like, hey, just you willing to take $50 a month or $100 a month to visit my properties once a month? Like, who would say
Hmm.
no to that? Like,
Right.
so it's really creating win-win situation solutions. Right now, a lot of realtors are just need some money and need opportunities. So this is a great way to do that.
Yeah. And no one, that's the thing. I think we talked earlier about having a property on the market so long. Nobody wants to see that. Not the seller, not the real estate agent, because that's preventing them from making their money. And, leveraging that to, help them and say, hey, if we have this partnership, we can, have more deals close in a faster amount of time. So leverage the aspect of, hey, they haven't done a deal in a long time. So that's another question you need to ask is like, when's the last deal that you've done? If it's been a couple months or so, that might be an opportunity for that realtor to be more active in what your partnership with that particular. And I'm not saying that you have to create a solidified partnership. It's just
Right.
a relationship that you can have with that in that particular market, that real estate agent in that particular market.
Yeah, I mean, it's just offering value.
Hmm.
I mean, there's always value you can add to a realtor and vice versa. And not just on the listing side, but on the buyer side too. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, we've talked about it too, how you can reach out to realtors or buyers agents who have access to cash buyers as well. That's always a great way to create relationships. I know even on the commercial side, that's huge, right? Like,
yeah,
out here in LA that you're doing, um, a lot of the brokers you're talking with, either have access to a pool of investors that they've worked with
yeah,
over the years. So even as you climb the ladder, if you're like kind of over residential and want to like move up to commercial, like you're pretty much doing the same thing, is like
100%.
is nurturing, cultivating these relationships with brokers, realtors, mostly brokers on the commercial end, and seeing how you can offer value. Like, again, off market deals are pretty big in the not, you don't see that often in the commercial
Hmm.
space, or that's what investors want to see. So it's really important to just really work on these little small things, because as you kind
Yeah,
of work up uh the real estate ladder, or however you want to call it, or if you just want to stay in the residential side, which there's nothing wrong with that,
right,
that is something that you do, um to close bigger deals as well.
right. Yeah. And I think if you're a wholesaler and that's all you do is off market deals, we're just telling you this is another way to do more deals is on market and identifying great opportunities out there based on what buyers or investors are buying in the market in at that particular location. So
Hmm.
we're not saying ditch off market deals altogether. We're just saying add this
Add.
to your portfolio of ways to close more deals. So
Yeah, and for those, I'm sure if you get a chance to just type in privy, I'm sure
hmm.
like you're seeing it everywhere, and we'll drop a link as well. Privy. It's a great tool, and there's so many videos out on YouTube already with investors who are utilizing this tool, or
Hmm.
wholesalers even, not even like fix and flippers or whatever. I saw a video where they completely automated, like did a workflow where they pulled the data from Privy, all the
Hmm.
MLS data, like properties on the market, um, put it into a spreadsheet. They
Uh-huh.
they had to do some automation through Excel or some formulas, where
Yeah.
it's like, okay, this is the offer, this is the realtor's email information. So it is a little bit of work. So if you have a VA, or if you don't, like, you can do it on your own. And then they plug it into an email tool, and they literally do a mass send to realtors
Wow.
saying, and like they used chat gpt to like formulate
Sure.
a template, and then
Yeah.
they just filled in like the little inputs of like, hey, realtor's name, this is my offer, I understand it's a little bit low, and it's like you're shooting 300 offers at once,
Dang, that's
and
amazing.
like this guy is able to close. So that's a gem that I caught. I was like, huh, a head scratcher.
Yeah, for
Maybe I
sure.
should start doing that. um and but I'm not a spreadsheet whiz, so that may take some time for me to do it, but I think it's worth it, and it
Right.
doesn't hurt to like shoot an offer, because somebody's going to be like, yes, it's been on the market for so long, we'll just take anything at this point.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. So if you just honestly just go on YouTube and type in Privy wholesaling, or on market deal wholesaling on market deals, you're going to find some really good stuff. So
Yeah.
if I do come across the video, I'll also post it in the show notes.
That's awesome. And I think also Privy, they have good like customer service. They also have different videos and stuff like
Yeah, they
that.
have great
Yeah.
videos, help videos and stuff like that on like how to navigate the product.
Yeah. We'll also try to see if we can get, one of the owners on here or something to
Yeah,
maybe do a demo or something like that, or just talk about how he they're utilizing it or helping wholesalers as well too. So we'll work on that. That's our homework for,
yeah,
some the rest of the year. So
absolutely. But no, honestly, I think for the longest time, especially when we got started, like any on market deals, it was kind of like, just if it's on the
I
market,
know.
like don't really like put too much thought into it. But now it's because of where the market is at, you want, the deal flow and everything like that, like there's opportunities there for sure. So definitely take advantage of that. Check out Privy, your homework, check out Privy, connect with more realtors, brokers, and put out those offers. Put out
Yeah.
those super low offers you may be hung up on. I mean, but you're hung up on anyways by sellers when we're making those offers, like really low offers. So
Yeah.
people want to get paid. So that's an opportunity to do that. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
and then if you guys have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions as well too. And we're getting a lot of people just to comment or just hitting us on DMs just to ask questions and stuff. So we're always
absolutely.
we try to be available as much as we can, but we definitely will get back to you if you contact us. So.
Absolutely. Our DMs are open. You can hit us in
There's
our
no
DMs.
sliding in. It's open.
Yeah, yeah, all day, all day. So yeah, hit
Right.
us up if you have any specific questions. We're here to help. But yeah, really, really good, efficient, short topic, conversation today on really how you can take advantage of on market deals. So hope this was really, really helpful for you guys. We'll be back next week. We're working on having a guest next week, but we may have to shuffle some days around, but really, really excited for that. But if you guys have any questions, please reach out. Again, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll connect with you guys next week.
Yep.